What's up, everyone? Wednesday morning when I'm recording this is an update actually to a story from yesterday. A man 38 on parole for murdering his own mother is charged with beating up Filipina 65 on her way to church in NYC in front of two security guards who did nothing. Scrolled through the article a little bit. It looks like there's some footage that we'll talk about. We'll talk about the info from yesterday, but it looks like in the update, they got him. Brandon Elliot was arrested by cops at 2 a.m. on Wednesday after a manhunt, and that was just a few hours before I'm recording this video. The suspect is on parole after murdering his mother as a teenager in 2002. So you heard it right, folks. A gentleman who was 2002, that would be 19. Okay, so he would have been just 19 at the time. So somebody who murdered his own mother was out on parole. He murdered his mom, and he's out walking among us. Restorative justice, as some individuals on the left like to call it. Given that information, I bet that this woman now, after she hears that and her family hears that she is happy that she just got a beating, that she hopefully understands what this guy is capable of and feels fortunate that all he did was beat her. And I know that's ridiculous to say, but come on, you come across this guy's path, and given his track record, she should be fortunate, feeling lucky to be alive. He lives in a hotel serving as a homeless shelter near Monday's savage attack. Surveillance footage showed the woman 65 being kicked to the ground. And obviously real tough guy, right, to beat up a woman almost twice his age and half his size. Two workers from a nearby building appeared to turn a blind eye to the beating. The pair were suspended from work after Bill de Blasio condemned their inaction, because only Bill de Blasio gets to allow people to commit violence in the street and beat people. Something about some mostly peaceful protests going on last year. Only de Blasio gets to pick and choose who gets allowed to be violent and beat other people in the streets. They made the mistake of not getting approval from de Blasio to allow this to happen. Perhaps they should have just said they were with BLM, and then de Blasio would have been cool with it. Maybe if they said, these two security guards said they were down with BLM, maybe he would have hired them for future work if he needed a couple windows smashed. Well, they are unemployed now, so perhaps he can hire them to smash up some windows. When I was talking with my wife about this story before this update happened, the speculation was what I always assume it to be, that it would be some individual with mental health issues, that when we get information about his past, that we're going to find something there to where this guy shouldn't be out walking among us to begin with. That opens up a whole other conversation, but I had no idea that this is what it was going to be, that he previously murdered his mother. The victim was on her way to church in Midtown when she was pushed down to the ground and kicked in the head. She had been walking towards the suspect in the moments before he attacked her, when he reportedly told her, "F you, you don't belong here." The footage also shows two security guards watch the attack unfold and fail to intervene. The pair have been suspended from work. The Brodsky organization, the management company for the building, announced Tuesday NYPD officers had blanketed Manhattan with wanted posters and offered a $2,500, huh? Way to step up, guys. A $2,500 reward for any information on the suspect. $2,500 is all they could scrap together. Something tells me that even with the limited number of subscribers I have and the limited number of views I get, that if we passed a hat around to all of you, that we could scrape together $2,500. Let's see the video. Damn, you see how big this guy is. I don't know what that individual was doing there. Maybe he was just checking on her. Didn't seem to check on her long enough. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio and mayoral candidate Andrew Yang expressed anger on Tuesday that nobody tried to stop the assault. Like so many other people, this is Yang and this is de Blasio, so I think you know where this is going to go. Here's the painful read. I woke up to a horrifying video of an Asian woman, making sure to emphasize she's Asian, being beaten for no other reason than her race. That's Yang, who is playing that card. He's currently considered a favorite to succeed Bill de Blasio, told reporters in Brooklyn on Tuesday. And I think we found his platform, an elderly Asian woman walking the streets of Hell's Kitchen. Could have easily been my mother because that's where we live. Victimhood, victimhood, victimhood. I can't deal with Andrew Yang. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you do. You've got to help your fellow New Yorker, de Blasio said Tuesday at his daily news briefing. And that's why he's a piece of shit, because he's done nothing to help his fellow New Yorker. We saw what we saw over the summer. We saw him allow that band of goons, that band of monsters, smash up the streets all throughout the city. He didn't give one fuck about it. He did not give one fuck about anybody or any business. How he was specifically targeting individuals in the Jewish community with his strong-handed lockdowns. And you certainly can make the argument that they should have been more mindful of others. We can have that debate if you like. To sit up here, and this just shows you what a piece of garbage de Blasio is, to sit up here and act like he gives a fuck about New Yorkers, this guy's a disgrace, a piece of garbage. The hypocrisy of it all, oh my God, he cares now. Now he cares. Okay, this is something where we all have to be part of the solution. We can't just stand back and watch a heinous act happening. In a statement Tuesday, the Brodsky organization, the management company for the building, said the staff who witnessed the attack have been suspended pending an investigation in conjunction with their union. The Brodsky organization is also working to identify a third-party delivery vendor present during the incident so that appropriate action can be taken. Oh, so more people should be suspended because of this guy's actions, right? Oh, we're going to cover our butts, so we're just going to start suspending people. They added, they condemn all forms of discrimination, violence, against the Asian community. So we're only condoning it against the Asian community. We're in that phase. Okay, got it. The attack comes amid a national spike, blah, blah, blah. You know, this is the thought I was having. And we see here, this is an angle of the video where we can see the individuals inside the building, seeing this going on, and then doing nothing about it. So when I was talking to my wife about this, and there's a lot of stories out there about this, and this would be the catch-22. These gentlemen suspended anyway. Yeah, you could say they're cowards. I'll give you that. You could say they were pussies, sure. They should have yelled, called the police, said something. No one says you have to go stick your face in it and take a punch or a kick. And I talked about this with the subway beatings in New York on a video I did about a week or 2 weeks ago. It all depends on who you are and what kind of intervention you're going to take. But at the very least, pick up a phone, call the police, or yell. If you don't stop beating that woman half your size, I'm going to call the police. That's the very least you can do. Where's the love for your fellow citizen? We don't have that anymore because division created, right? We don't even see each other as fellow Americans anymore. They always boil us down to a race or a gender or a preference. Political preference, other kind of preference. My opinion, it's just my opinion, you can argue and push back on this, but there's no more Americanism because we've all been divided down into something and put into a box where we're not allowed to be all Americans anymore. We're an Asian, we're a female, we're a gay person, we're a trans person, we're a cisgendered white male, right? They just put us in these boxes to where There's no civic pride, I guess I would say. And that's our fault for letting that happen to those of us who have let that happen. I'm an American, first and foremost. Now, getting back to it, the catch-22 is, what if he intervenes? Or what if both men intervene? What if this third-party vendor, let's have a witch hunt, let's find this third-party vendor so we can suspend him too, instead of putting the blame where it belongs. These individuals intervene, punch a guy in the face, guaranteed they're going to get suspended because companies just don't want to deal with the liability. What if they kick this guy in the face, he falls back, hits his head on the concrete, knocks himself out, files a lawsuit against the Brodsky organization? Guarantee these two gentlemen would be vilified by the Brodsky organization. CYA, right? Cover your ass. So what are they supposed to do? I get how they don't want to be involved from that perspective, but what if it's also a situation where the company tells them specifically, like, hey, you're inside this building. This is your responsibility, just the building. This stuff going on outside the building, that's not our responsibility. In their training, were they told, hey, your responsibility is only inside of here, because that's what they're paid to defend, right? The catch-22. The suspect allegedly hurled anti-Asian sentiments as he punched and kicked a 65-year-old woman on West 43rd Street near 9th Avenue just before midday, according to the NYPD. And I'd be interested to know how they know that he was shouting those sentiments. Were there witnesses? Were the security guards able to hear that? I'd be interested to know how they know that that's what he was shouting. Like, who was close enough to have heard that? The woman was taken to NYU Langone Hospital in stable condition, having suffered a fractured pelvis. Police Commissioner Dermot Shea called Monday's attack disgusting. I don't know who attacks a 65-year-old woman and leaves her on the street like that. Shea said Tuesday on TV station NY1. Shea recently said the agency would increase its outreach and patrols in predominantly Asian communities. And this article is actually so fresh at the time I'm recording this that there are no comments at this time. You all are sleeping right now when I'm recording this. Now, interestingly enough, that was the article. I skipped a little tiny bit, but there was nothing mentioned about the 2002 incident involving his mother. Interesting what they chose to omit. Usually these kind of articles like to add a ton of fluff to up their word count. Again, she's lucky to have just gotten away with that fractured pelvis. Definitely hope that she recovers, gets back to what she was. But hey, after taking that beating, you saw in the video, she got up. She didn't just lay there. It took her a little bit of time, but she got up. That's some spirit right there, right? To take that kind of beating and get up. So I don't doubt that with that strong will, that she's going to be able to recover and come out of this fine. One final thought on the gentleman who didn't do anything. Again, like I said, yeah, I can say, oh yeah, they're pussies. I would have done this, I would have done that, those cowards. That's your choice. You don't owe an obligation to do something outside of your purview. But for me, as I've said before in the past when I've done videos like this, I couldn't sleep at night knowing I did nothing. It would eat at me if I saw this and I didn't intervene at least some way. That's me. That doesn't have to be you. But that's because I know I can handle my business. Even with a guy this size, I still couldn't sleep at night knowing I didn't do something. That comes in many forms though, because if there were 5 or 6 of them, then we're talking about another situation. I'm like, yeah, let me stick to the phone instead. When you have 1 or 2 individuals, maybe even 3, my inclination would be to try to intervene if elderly, kid, somebody really small, something like that, where I could see that the victim had no shot at fighting back in that situation. But most of the time, though, I would tend to be more of a hands-off kind of thing. I told a story in one of my past videos about a time I did intervene. The guy backed down because he was a chump. The story went on further, where some other things happened. It was in my Subway video a week or 2 ago, so if you want to hear that story, you can check that video out. But if there's a situation where you see something like this, at the very least, just pick up the phone, call the police. They wouldn't have gotten there in time, but it would probably help you sleep easier, knowing that you at least did something. That's all I got, everybody. Take care. Be well.